afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. FIFA, the Zimbabwe Football Association, and the RCT Council welcome you to this qualification match of the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 between the teams of Zimbabwe and South Africa.
The team lineups are as follows. For South Africa, jersey number 1, Williams Ronwen. Jersey 23, Morena Tapelo. Jersey number 3, Daruk Rashan.
Zimbabwe for the latest installment of our coverage of the qualifying campaign for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. African qualifying brings us a very big one indeed today here between Zimbabwe and South Africa. A showdown between these neighbours from Southern Africa, the National Sports Stadium in Harare, and we are about 10 minutes away from kickoff. The stadium unfortunately standing empty today for this one, but fans will be tuning in from all across the countries and all around Africa and the world for what is a huge game at the beginning of this qualifying campaign for the World Cup in Group G. It is all set to be a fascinating group with Ghana also involved and Ethiopia as well, and Ghana play Ethiopia later today in the same section. There are some lucky spectators in the ground today, but not many. This match closed off to the general public, and it is unfortunate this venue, which could be bouncing packed to capacity for such a big game, but instead we have empty seats around the ground to greet the teams when they come out in a few moments. Arrival of the two teams, but set to be a particularly intriguing game today between these sides. You might think of South Africa as one of the powerhouses on the African continent, and the reality is that they have struggled to flex their muscles in the African game in recent times. They will not be at the next Africa Cup of Nations in the new year in Cameroon. Contrast that with Zimbabwe, a country with a quarter of the population of South Africa, a country that have never qualified for the World Cup before, but they will be at the next Cup of Nations. It is a game which brings together two opposing teams, but full of players who know each other pretty well. There are plenty members of the Zimbabwean side today who play their club football in South Africa, and the Bafana Bafana team is made up in its majority by players who play at home. Of course, the preparations for the two teams for this game today have been impacted by COVID-19, and in particular in Zimbabwe's case by travel restrictions imposed by the British government, stopping a number of players who had initially been called up but who play their club football in the UK, stopping them from being able to travel with the rules on quarantining and countries on Britain's red list. There's been a blanket ban by clubs in Britain from their players travelling to play in these African qualifiers. Of course, it affected most notably the Liverpool stars, Mohamed Salah, for example, not able to play for Egypt. But in the case of Zimbabwe, they have been adversely affected as well. and that meant their coach Zdravko Logarušić had to make a number of late additions to his squad to compensate for all the withdrawals. So let's see how Zimbabwe can cope today, given everything that has happened in that regard. Their preparation for this match has been badly affected. Maybe the South Africans will be better placed to press home what they feel is their superiority. And Zdravko Logarušić, the Zimbabwe coach, can be confident with home advantage, and given what his team has achieved in recent times, coming up against a South African side, playing their first game under their new coach, Hugo Broos, the Belgian, who finally gets to take charge of a game today. It's nearly 4 months since he was appointed. Zdravko Logarušić, the Croatian, was appointed in January last year and guided the Warriors to qualification. Hugo Broos coming out, of course, if you followed African football in recent years, you will be familiar with Hugo Broos, the man who led Cameroon to glory at the Cup of Nations in Gabon in 2017, and now in charge of Bafana Bafana. Well, the two sets of substitutes have made their way out, and now we are ready for the two teams, the starting lineups, to make their way out onto the field as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome the two teams of Zimbabwe.
Well, welcome
and South
to the
Africa.
National Sports Stadium here in Harare for the start of this World Cup qualifying campaign for these neighbours, Zimbabwe and South Africa, set for a huge encounter today at the beginning of their campaign to make it to Qatar 2022. That is the dream for Zimbabwe, who have never made it to the World Cup before. And that is the dream too for South Africa, who are on the rebound after their disappointment, their failure to qualify for the upcoming Africa Cup of Nations. A fresh start for them, and here we are in Group G today. Ghana and Ethiopia making up the section. They play later, but first of all, our focus on the action here in Harare, the Warriors of Zimbabwe against Bafana Bafana. Before we bring you the starting lineups, we will have the national anthems of the respective countries here today.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we all rise for the South African national anthem.
Starting off with the national anthem of South Africa. Well, that was the South African national anthem, and time now for the national anthem of Zimbabwe. So there we go, the national anthems of the respective nations. Zdravko Logarušić, the Zimbabwe coach, leading his team today, and the Warriors aiming to cause something of a sensation this afternoon against the South Africans. Logarušić names this starting lineup, his squad badly affected by a number of players based in the United Kingdom being unable to travel because of COVID-related restrictions, but some familiar faces: Knowledge Musona, the captain, who these days plays in Saudi Arabia; Tino Kadewere, the number 10, who stars for Lyon in France; and Kama Billiat, the number 11, who plays in South Africa for the Kaizer Chiefs, one of 5 members of the Zimbabwe starting lineup based in the South African game. And Billiat, certainly a big star in Zimbabwe, and a man who got their only goal when they appeared at the last Cup of Nations in Egypt a couple of years ago. As we look at the view here in the National Sports Stadium in Harare, we'll take a look at the South African starting lineup. Hugo Broos in charge the first time today, brought in a few months ago following Bafana Bafana's failure to qualify for the Cup of Nations. This is his first starting lineup. 6 changes from the team that played in Sudan and lost their decisive Cup of Nations final qualifier back in March. Tembozvane and Innocent Mayela among the players not involved today. Some players dropped, some unable to play because of injury, but big stars in the team, including Percy Tau, the former Brighton and Hove Albion player who's left the English Premier League to join Pitso Mosimane at Al Ahly in Egypt. So then we are just about ready to go here. The referee from Egypt today gets us underway at the National Sports Stadium in Harare. The opening qualifier in Group G for the 2022 World Cup for these teams. Zimbabwe against South Africa today. Zimbabwe starting what they hope will be the road to their first ever World Cup finals. South Africa looking to qualify for the first time since their appearance as hosts back in 2010. South Africa then shooting from left to right today. Some early possession for them on the pitch here in Harare. The voices of the players ringing out around the ground, given the absence of spectators, as is the case in a lot of games in CAF qualifier this weekend.
Hey, we can play behind. Marshall, we can play behind. Okay,
Talbot Shumba then to take the goal kick for Zimbabwe. Long kick downfield from the goalkeeper. Midfield by Munetsi. To the left-hand side, Mahachi. Find Lunka, the left-back, wearing the number 5. Here is Lunka again, one of the South African-based contingent in the Zimbabwean team. Ball into the 6-yard box and into the grateful arms of Ronwen Williams. The South African goal, the Bafana Bafana captain, designated by Hugo Broos as his skipper.
Stay open, bravo. And the space for inside, bravo.
Moraine up the ball forward. Picked up by Percy Tau, the number 10.
Go, Percy, go. Go up.
Mudimo under pressure. He's going to go back to his goalkeeper here. Shumba will clear it long. Picked up by Marshall Munetsi. Ball into the channel. And South African defence getting into a little bit of trouble. Musona running the channel and winning the throw for the home team. Rasheen Daruk, number 3 for South Africa today. This ground if full can hold up to 60,000 people, but empty today with just a few dignitaries and the players and officials. Free kick given by the Egyptian referee.
Look the ball. Look the ball.
Well, Hugo Broos
Go deep, yes. Next space.
passing on the instructions to his players, and a big day for him. His first match in charge at the beginning of this World Cup qualifying campaign. South Africa, they will feel that they should be doing better in the African game. missing out on qualification for the Cup of Nations, a major source of disappointment for them. They did, of course, do pretty well at the last Cup of Nations in Egypt 2 years ago, beating the hosts in the last 16 and then losing narrowly to Nigeria in the quarter-finals. So Zulu knocks it back the way to Ronwen Williams. Long ball forward out to the left-hand side.
Go up, stay up.
Tiboho Mokoena wearing the number 4, the Supersport United player. The majority of these South African starters today are based at home. Percy Tau is a rare exception, along with 2 Denmark-based players in that attack, in Gift Links and Luther Singh. Mokoena again.
Change. One touch, play.
Comes to Sianda Zulu.
Go inside.
Well, Tel Aviv, the other one based outside of South Africa. Switch of play to the left-hand side for Links. Tau in the middle, but disappointing delivery.
It's okay, bravo.
Positive start to the game from the South Africans, and encouragement from Hugo Broos and his staff on the bench.
Bravo.
But Shumba will choose to play this one long. Just wonder if the Zimbabweans are aware of the bumpy pitch here, and not sure of their ability to pass it out from the back. It's a lovely bit of control by Tino Kadewere. The stars of this Zimbabwe team, a national team who for such a long time really, to say, failed to live up to their billing at international level, but they have got some very fine players led by Tino Kadewere.
Very good.
This was Kamusoko. Long throw down the line. Perhaps fall here for Makopa. Tries to cut it back, and it's blocked, turned behind for a corner by Basera. Evidence Magopa playing up front today. What can the away side do with the first corner of the afternoon? Played short. Ball towards the arriving Makopa at the edge of the 6-yard box, and the header just over the bar was well worked by South Africa. And it could have been the opening goal. Corner kick played short to Tiboho Mokoena. Nobody went with him. And look at Evidence Magopa, completely free, arriving at the edge of the 6-yard box. And he should have done better.
Okay. Go behind. Now. Yes. Bravo. Stay. Alone.
Out to the near side. Turns to Morena. With Singh. Letting go back the way to Zulu. Playing with Rushin Daruk in the heart of the South African defence today. It's an ambitious ball looking for the run of Tapelo Morena. Into the box is collected by Shumba.
Go, Percy inside. Bravo, Percy.
Let's play, Hey, put the ball down. Start to play,
Okay.
Put ball down. Let's play. Come, Mitchell.
Basic.
Open up.
Easy, easy now.
Open.
Ready.
Lunga.
Open up. Look at the space here.
Giving it to Becerra. Becerra playing in something of a makeshift central defensive pairing for the Zimbabwean team today. This is Marshall Munetsi. Chimwemwe, the ball down the line, one in the air by Daruk. Picked up by Knowledge Musona on that right flank, looking for Kadewere in the middle. This is good from Zimbabwe, and end-to-end stuff in the early stages.
Bobby, go to the ball.
Chimwemwe will deliver the throw. By Daruk. Tau taking it for a run.
Very good.
This one of two qualifiers here in Africa being played at the moment. The other one in Group D between Mozambique and the Ivory Coast, one of the big names in this qualifying competition. It's 0-0 here in Harare on what is a warm afternoon. 3:15 in the afternoon here in Harare. Tau wearing the number 10 for South Africa today. And big news was his move at the tail end of August away from Brighton. Try his luck with Al Ahly, team up with Pitso Mosimane, of course. South African in charge of the Cairo Giants. It was a very poor pass out by Robin Williams.
They're going for pressure here.
Williams of Supersport United. Challenged by Munetsi, a scrap in the midfield, helped on by Tau. This is Evidence Magopa. Pass between Tau and Luther Singh.
They're going, two of them going for pressure. You're staying. Let's go. Let's go. Let's wake up. Let's wake up.
It's okay, it's okay.
To the edge of his technical area, looking on Zimbabwe. That early let off, the header over the bar by Magopa. By Lunga. Left back will take the throw. The man who plays for the South African champions, Mamelodi Sundowns. They are familiar with each other, these two sets of players. Top by Tau. Tau looking for a run ahead of him by Lips, but it's come through to Talbot Shumba.
Very good, stay. Basic. Basic, not alone. Now.
Through to Ronwin Williams, who broses. Clear in his instructions of when his team should press.
Easy.
Where he's standing on the ball, but he gets the break of it here.
Bravo.
Excellent challenge by Moreno. Sent downfield looking for Magopa. Udimo, the defender, the number 6, struggling to hold off Evidence Magopa.
Bobby. Morena. Wait, you see there 3. Wait, choice. Wait. Okay, now open. Bobby inside!
Moreno.
Let's go.
1-2.
Bravo!
Fighting forward, looking for Tau, made the run into the box, but difficult for Tau. He's not the tallest.
Let's play. Come on.
Cleared downfield again by Shumba.
Okay.
Soko in the Zimbabwe midfield.
Here the side is open.
It's nicely done. 1-2 with Kamabiliat. South Africa get it back again and challenge John Links, worthy of a free kick, according to the Egyptian referee. Richie Wemwe, the right back for Zimbabwe today. In contrast to the South Africans, the Zimbabweans nobody in their starting lineup who plays their club football at home. A number of players head south to South Africa. Some other ones stay in the region as well, but head to Zambia, where there are a couple of big clubs in Ghana and Zesco United. Arthur Singh. Picked up by Mokoena. Percy Tau. Happy to just keep possession. Machine Daruk.
Go inside now. Go wait.
Percy Tau.
Wait there, wait.
Another slack ball. The sets of players getting used to the surface, getting used to each other maybe as well. This first international get-together since the end of the Cup of Nations qualifying campaign. That was at the end of March, 5 months ago. Kadewere battling for possession. Kadewere could be in. And Ronwen Williams coming out to dive at the feet of the Zimbabwe forwards. Brave goalkeeping and risky goalkeeping as well, but he got away with it. Kadewere has got that heavy strapping on his right thigh. Hasn't played a lot of football this season for his club, Lyon. Struggling to get back to his feet. Here comes South Africa with Luther Singh. Nicely played in field for Mokoena. Mokoena trying to shot from long range. Goodness me, what a fantastic strike that was from Mokoena. And a good save by Taba Shumba. Diving to his left to tip it over the bar. Well, fully 30 metres out. Thibaut Mokoena, Supersport United midfielder, nearly scoring an absolutely brilliant goal. Credit to Shumba for making the save. The South African corner. Try again. They've got an interesting routine going on in the middle. 3 men lined up back to back. Magopa, Daruk and Mvala all there. Just a talking to from the Egyptian referee. Magopa got a free header. The first corner of the game. It's going to be another corner. Mudimu. Mop up. This time in low towards the near post. That ball bouncing through into the 6-yard box, picked up by Gift Links.
Second pass! Hey! Second pass for Senna!
Come to Percy Tau. You can see how bouncy the playing surface is here. Percy Tau trying to cross up towards the back post. Very awkward for the Zimbabwean defence. Eventually they get it clear. Well, it is scrappy. We've seen a couple of very good opportunities for South Africa in the opening stages. Zimbabwe now with a bit of concern here for Divine Lunga. Bruce was appointed in May and finally taking charge of his first 2 games. This is his debut today for the veteran Belgian. The big announcement with his first squad was the inclusion of Percy Tau. There was some uncertainty about Tau's future. He's not been playing a lot of football.
Okay, guys, okay. Look, okay.
There's Tino Kadewere, 10 goals in Ligue 1 in France last season for Olympique Lyonnais, his debut campaign in the French top flight. He'd been playing in the 2nd division in France before that for Le Havre and done very well. Clearance downfield by Williams, and Luther Singh trying to keep that ball in play, and he's won a free kick for his team. Big save from Talbot Shumba, wasn't it? To deny Mokoena. Mvala. Here is Mokoena playing the 1-2 with Lynx. Way to Daruk. Basera, central defensive partner Mudimu. Chimwemwe at right back. Zimbabwe with Kamusoko and Marshall Munetsi sitting in the midfield. There is real quality in the final third, potentially anyway, with Kadewere and with Biliat and Musona. Knowledge Musona on the left-hand side at the moment. Kama Biliat in support of Tino Kadewere, and on the right-hand side it's Mahachi, another one of the South African-based contingent in the Zimbabwe team. By a number of withdrawals to different players, not just because of travel restrictions, but because of positive COVID tests as well. Munetsi well through the legs of Percy Tau. Munetsi again, he is one to watch out there today. Kamabiliat lifting it into the middle, and it will, I think, run behind. Yes, it wasn't kept in play by Kadewere. Tino Kadewere played in Sweden before moving to France. Mobi. Rushin Daruk. Siandajulu, wearing the number 5, is one of the survivors from the last game of the qualifying campaign for the Cup of Nations, the defeat in Sudan back in March. Munetsi, he's been caught in possession and did well to recover. It's just as well. Mobi with the challenge, and the free kick given Zimbabwe's way, catching Mahachi. Kwashe Mahachi, the left winger usually, but moved across to the right-hand side. We just saw Zdravko Logarušić watching on. Maybe maybe a bit more at ease, a bit more relaxed. He's been in Zimbabwe for that bit longer. He's been in charge for 18 months now, through a very difficult period, of course, with the pandemic, making life easy for anybody. It's an excellent long ball forward. It's brilliantly taken down by Biliat. Mahachi looking for Kadewere in the middle. The header out was by Zulu. It's promising again from the Warriors. Now South Africa will look to respond. Blocked by Chimwemwe to get Kamabilia in the game, Zimbabwe, and get him creating opportunities for Kadewere alongside him. Big switch of play. What a fine ball that was from the left-hand side to Morena here on the right. Morena taking on his man and running out of space. Harare today. These Southern African neighbours. Two vast countries, certainly in the case of South Africa, see themselves as footballing powerhouses in the African game. Two countries who maybe underachieved. The Southern African nations often underperforming up against the North African and West African teams. Hachi trying the shot, well off target, unable to trouble Ronwen Williams. Yet to be called into serious action 25 minutes into this game. Kudakwashi Mahachi with the attempt on goal. Ronwen Williams designated as the captain by Hugo Broos, placing Tulani Hlachwayo. He's the captain in Bafana Bafana's last outing, that defeat in Sudan at the end of March. Such a damaging defeat it was. They needed just a draw to secure qualification for the upcoming Cup of Nations in Cameroon, and they failed to get it. And Hugo Broos, speaking ahead of this game today, pointed out that the mentality needs to change. He was not impressed with the way in which they played in that game in Sudan in March. He watched it back. Really, they need to come here and win today in a section also including Ghana. Their performance in qualifying for the last World Cup was desperately poor. Finished bottom of their qualifying group, but won just one game in a section which did feature Senegal, but you expect them to do much better against the likes of Burkina Faso and Cape Verde than they did. Bottom of that group, very poor indeed. In a way, of course, they made progress from that performance to just missing out on qualification for the Cup of Nations, but can still greatly improve as Divine Lunga's ball through is straight to Ronwen Williams. Lunga chasing to get back into position here. Williams knew he was out of position. Looking for Luther Singh. And away by Basera. It's more Basera playing in central defence today, the veteran. Usually a fullback, but given the problems elsewhere, that's why he is slotting in that position. Foul on Mvala, Mamelodi Sundowns man. Mokoena forwards. Makopa. Munetsi. Picked up by Biliat. Biliat was struggling to maintain possession. Hunted down by Mokoena. Mahachi looking for Biliat. He's got the break of the ball here, tries the shot from a difficult angle, and Kadewere asking the question, could he not have played it in low into the 6-yard box? He seems to be saying, Biliat, that he couldn't see his teammate. A great chance for Zimbabwe, their best chance of this game. He was just onside and going for goal. Wanted the corner kick, which the assistant referee has given. What can Zimbabwe do with this? Knowledge Musona, the captain, running across to take it. He's going to get it back from Mahachi. This time he'll have to try the cross, surely. Wasted opportunity. Zimbabwe having to settle for maintaining possession here. It's 0-0 between the Warriors and South Africa. This derby clash. Biliat getting it to Lunga. Lunga might fancy the shot on goal here. Comes back in onto his right foot. Munetsi with the attempt, which sails over the crossbar. Marshall Munetsi came up against Lionel Messi last weekend. His club Reims in the French league, losing to Paris Saint-Germain, and Messi's debut with his new club. Williams will clear it downfield. Up by Tau. This is Luther Singh. Magopa in the middle. Evidence Magopa out to Percy Tau. Tau with the cross straight into the arms of the goalkeeper.
They must play. Hey, get the ball there. Let's start to play. They are just kicking.
Well, I'm not sure if you heard that coming from the Zimbabwe bench. The instruction: get the ball down and start to play. You're just kicking. Playing surfaces maybe not making it easy for either team, as intercepted. Here comes Divine Lunga for Zimbabwe. Now to Knowledge Musona. Munetsi will try his luck again from distance. Another wasted chance, and again Kadewere throwing his arms up in frustration. Does need some service in the middle if he's going to get among the goals. Marshall Munetsi, who played in South Africa before moving to Europe. Very talented midfielder. He was with Orlando Pirates before going to Reims in 2019. Zimbabwe are missing another midfield star today, Marvellous Nakamba, who plays for Aston Villa in the English Premier League. One of those hit by the blanket ban by English clubs on travelling due to COVID restrictions, as Musona tries to slip it in for Biliat. It was in front of him, it was behind Kadewere. Singh loses out in the tackle. Kamusoko to Chimwemwe on the right. Chimwemwe I think it's fair to say is playing today for Zimbabwe at right back because of the absences of the English-based players. Tendai Darikwa, who's the captain of Wigan Athletic in England. He is a right back who probably would have played today ahead of Chimwemwe, but not able to travel. Marvellous Nakamba missing too. They're probably not the only ones who would have started today in different circumstances. Maybe Jordan Zamura plays for Bournemouth in the English Championship. Perhaps he would have started the game today at left back. Musona trying the shot on goal. Comes to Munetsi. Players based in France were able to travel, which is a relief for African national teams. So many France-based players involved in these qualifiers all across the continent. World Cup qualifiers taking place in Europe over the last couple of days, and in South America overnight as well. Argentina winning 3-1 in Venezuela with Lionel Messi captaining them, and Brazil getting a victory too by 0-0 in Chile. Brazil play Argentina at the weekend, and Brazil's victory in Chile, a big boost for their campaign. They're very much on course to qualify for the World Cup, but here in Africa we are still very early stages of the road to Qatar, even if the World Cup itself is only, what, about 15 months away now. The preliminary round, the first round, was played 2 years ago, but only involved the lower-ranked nations on the continent, the likes of Zimbabwe and South Africa and the African powerhouses. It's only beginning now. There's Munetsi, slipping the ball through towards Kadewere to take it with his back to goal, tries to get it back from Musona. Given up by Mvala. Percy Tau. Toby Mvala. Ball to the left-hand side. Driven in. Zimbabwe come away with it again. Is there sufficient quality in the home ranks to get the breakthrough goal? Kamabiliat, Kaizer Chiefs player. The South Africans know all about his quality. Trying to take on Morena, forced back the way. Comes to Kamusoko. Munetsi. Flighted into the middle, headed up by Zulu. Picked up by Mokoena. Mokoena with the ball to the near side here for Luther Singh. Haven't seen too much of the South African wingers in this first half. The quality they can produce, the dangerous ball in from Luther Singh, but into the arms of the goalkeeper again. Luther Singh, who recently joined FC Copenhagen in Denmark after a spell belonging to the Portuguese club Braga. Headed down by Kadewere. Touch on Kamusoko, and a foul conceded. Well, a knock for Kamabiliat. Mudimu, Sarah alongside him. This supposedly makeshift centre-back pairing for Zimbabwe, doing perfectly okay thus far.
Thank you, come on. Let's get Kuda. Go, Kuda. Number 10. Number 10.
Well, Evidence Magopa, leading the South African line, had that great early chance to header over the bar.
Let's play.
Since then, he has struggled to get into the game.
Come on.
Ronwen Williams will collect this. Bafana may have been encouraged by the performance of one of their clubs reaching the final of the CAF Champions League in July. Kaizer Chiefs losing 3-0 ultimately to Al Ahly in Casablanca in the final, but a rare achievement for a leading South African club to go that far in a competition which is often dominated by the giants from North Africa, not least Al Ahly.
No pressure.
The coach, of course, the South African Inso Mosimane. South African in charge of the Confederation of African Football these days, Patrice Motsepe. That was the Zimbabwean bench that we saw there. Zdravko Mogarušić watching on the coach of Zimbabwe. He's got former national team captain Benjani Mwaruwari among his staff now as an assistant coach, and another one very familiar to South African fans, of course. He finished his playing career in South Africa. Marshall Munetsi with the ball out to the right-hand side, intercepted that time, and maybe a chance here for Bafana to break. Links will be making the run in support on the outside. He's ignoring him. Well, the sting has been completely taken out of this move as we approach half-time here in Harare on this warm and sunny afternoon. Dry and bumpy pitch, which isn't making good quality football easy. There's chances coming for South Africa. Bruce has made the point that a lot of the older players have stepped aside for South Africa. A younger generation is slowly emerging. It's his job to help them develop and help turn South Africa into a leading contender again, but they do need a positive result here today as Biliat plays the ball in looking for Kadewere. This is Lunga. Picked up by Biliat. Taking on Luther Singh and settling for the throw. Morena lifted forward, looking for Magopa. This is Luther Singh again. Links once more. Drop of the shoulder to get away from his marker. Good recovery by Mahachi. Back helping out. Lunga now. Billiat thought he was away there from Sianda Julu, but he's given away the free kick up against the South African defender. Morena now. Play from Mokoena. Driven ball all the way from one side to the other. Percy Tau looking to get the cross in from Agopa. The service needs to be better for him. Probably shouldn't be too much time added on at the end of this first half. There haven't been too many stoppages as Kadewere struggles to get that ball under control. Just 1 minute added on by the Egyptian officials. Mudimu. Chimwemwe. Mudimu again. Plays his club football in Georgia. Too much on that ball forwards. I think we may have seen the last chance of the first half. It's been a close-fought game. South Africa's best opportunity, the closest either team has come to scoring. It's that long-range strike from Teboho Mokoena. A couple of other openings apart from that. But it's been a close-fought game, and we await the opening goal in this opening match in the group, in Group G, between Zimbabwe and South Africa. Hugo Broos with, I'm sure, words of encouragement for his players at the break. His first game in charge of Bafana Bafana, but they have come close a couple of times to getting the breakthrough. But at the moment here in Harare, it is 0-0 between these two teams. Well, welcome back to Harare. The teams are out again for the start of the second half here between Zimbabwe and South Africa. 0-0 at the break in this World Cup qualifying Group G encounter. And we will be underway in the second half in just a few moments. There is Marshall Munetsi, the France-based number 8 in this Zimbabwe team. Given as good as they've got thus far against Bafana Bafana, the best chance of the first half coming for the South Africans through Teboho Mokoena, that long-range shot which was tipped over the bar. Let's hope we can get the breakthrough in the second half. Time for a quick warm-up again before the action resumes for these South African players. Knowledge Musona, the Zimbabwe captain. I think we need to see a bit more from him in this second half. Not a particularly inspiring performance thus far from the number 17, another former South African-based player in the Zimbabwe ranks. Has been a change then at the beginning of the second half by the South Africans. And there you can see it. Hlongwane is on in place of Gift Links. Let's see if that can give Bafana Bafana a little bit more spark going forward. Action is underway again, and it's still 0-0, finally poised this one. A Trans-Limpopo derby between Zimbabwe and South Africa. Bobby to take the throw.
Second! That's what you want. It's getting better. Keep playing.
Evidence Magopa still on the field. The Baroka forward, just 21 years old. Touched on it in the first half that Hugo Broos is trying to help bring through and further develop a new generation of younger South African players. And Ongokule Hlongwane, who's come off the bench, is another example of that, just 21 years old. Tommy Mvala there is one of the comparative veterans at the age of 27. Out comes Williams to clear. Where he was chasing that one down. When Williams just calling for cool heads, a bit of intelligence from his defenders as Chimwemwe takes the throw for Zimbabwe. Daruk, the Mamelodi Sundowns man, in that back line for South Africa today, preparing for the long throw here. Kadewere, one of the players in the middle as Chimwemwe launches it towards the box. Played by Hongwane, the substitute. Oh, a heavy touch by Shumba, getting himself into some trouble. Percy Tau was closing him down. Talbot Shumba nearly having a disaster, the Free State Stars player. Here's Tau. Running the ball out of play. He might be lacking in a bit of sharpness, Percy Tau. He made 3 appearances in the Premier League last season with Brighton. And, a spell out on loan.
Open up! Open up!
There's Marshall Munetsi, and once again Zimbabwe preparing for the long throw from Chimwemwe. Stand in at right back today, looking for Kadewere in the middle. It might just come for Billiat here if he can get the ball under control. Instead, he's given away the free kick up against Rushin Daruk. It's the foul that the referee had the perfect view of. Away by Mudimu. Forward here for Billiat. Looks to release Kadewere. Williams coming way out of his area to get to that ball. He had to get to it, and he did just. Munetsi. His pass is cut out. It's going to come to Chimwemwe. Cross in this time from Chimwemwe. An awkward one for the defence. It might just run behind for a corner here for Zimbabwe. It does. Siandajulu dealing with it, and Knowledge Musona will come across here to take it. Plays his football these days in Saudi Arabia. Knowledge Musona, formerly of Kaiser Chiefs, had a stint in Europe as well, including in the Bundesliga in Germany with Hoffenheim. Knowledge Musona, wearing the captain's armband, will send this one into the box. Needs a good delivery. Towards the near post. Time to try again. Can they test Ronwyn Williams? They've not really overly troubled the South Africa goalkeeper today. Musona's delivery. Chance maybe for the away side to break here. Longwane, a substitute with the fresh legs, replaced Gift Links at half-time. They fouled by Musona. And it is going to be, I think, the first yellow card of the game for Knowledge Musona. Indeed it is. I think he is making the point that it's his first foul. It was a cynical challenge. Confirmation then of the yellow card for Knowledge Musona. Given by the Egyptian referee. That was the foul. And Zakaria, the referee today, deciding to finally reach for his pocket. Tino Kadewere, in the meantime, is getting some treatment here. He's got that heavy strapping on his right thigh. It looks like it's actually his left leg that's the problem. Just a knock on his left thigh, and Kadewere is grimacing. That move to Olympique Lyonnais at the beginning of last season had a terrific start to the campaign.
Hey, doctor. Go back, go back.
Kadewere having to be helped off here, and he's not going to be able to continue. Zimbabwe temporarily down to 10 as Kadewere comes off. Pressure is on here. Luther Singh. A nice skill from the South African number 11. It's cleared out the cross, and Zimbabwe do survive. A man down as they prepare to replace Kadewere, given all the selection issues they've had for these matches. Don't want to lose Tino Kadewere. They do have probably a perfectly good option to bring off the bench in Terence Djukamania. Mokoena. Cross in from the right. Header away was by Basera. Zimbabwe just looking for Biliat at the moment. He's the only option up there. Rashid Daruk making a mess of the clearance. Biliat trying the outrageous first-time attempt on the volley. That would have been some goal if he'd managed to pull that one off.
How long, hey? Hey. But you know, it's 3 actions pass.
Well, back it comes to Shumba.
Okay.
Alec Mudimu is down on the ground. Now, he was a slight doubt before this match because of an injury. Evidence Magopa is down as well. I think it was a collision between the two. Okay, well, that is why Magopa is hurt. The coming together with Basera. South Africa could have a problem with their centre forwards. meantime, we are going to see that change being made by Zimbabwe. Kadewere finally replaced. Confirmation then that he is off. And Terence Zvukamanja is on, the Orlando Pirates player, another one who South African viewers will be familiar with, formerly of Bidvest Wits. It is a straight swap between those two, and the other change, Kunakwashe Mahachi, started the game on the right-hand side, being replaced by Tafadzwa Rusike. Zambian-based winger, so fresh legs on the flank.
Yes.
And fresh legs through the middle of the attack as well, with the injured Kadewere being replaced.
Yes, a bit behind. Marshall, 4-3-3. Am I right? Yes.
Evidence Magopa is okay for South Africa, and the second half really yet to come to life. Nil-nil between Zimbabwe and South Africa as we approach the hour mark here in Harare. Behind closed doors today because of COVID restrictions. Kamabilia shut down by Mvala. Gopa just trying to turn away from Onismor Basera, and Basera is going to pick up a yellow card as well now. It's the substitute, Tafadzwa Rusike, plays his club football in Zambia with Zesco United. He is a left winger, and it does look like he's going to stay on the left-hand side. Will be out to the near side here for Hlongwane. Half-time substitute hasn't really got into the game too much yet. Mobi, Percy Tau, poor first touch by Tau, and Knowledge Musona. Bilia. Free kick given Zimbabwe's way.
Yes. He started to pass. It's getting better.
Terence Zvukamanja, 27-year-old Orlando Pirates player, crashing into Mvala of the Sundowns. This game is crying out for a goal now. Ronwin Williams still not really tested in 61 minutes today. Is headed behind for a corner kick by Sianda Shulu. Well, Tel Aviv man did pick up a head knock playing for his club recently. There was a little bit of concern as to whether he would play today, but he is on the field. Knowledge Musona then to deliver the corner from the left this time. All the way into the 6-yard box, an awkward one for Rushin Daruk. Might come for the volleyed attempt by Mudimu. Back out to Knowledge Musona here then. Might fancy a shot himself, Knowledge Musona. It's bravely blocked by the defender, Mobi. A real bit of pressure from the Warriors in this Trans-Limpopo derby in World Cup qualifying.
Get out! Get out!
Chimwemwe, Kamusoko. That is a free kick, says the referee. Thought about it for a second. Marshall Munetsi taking the knock. And a yellow card given. Nico Mobi, first South African player today to go into the referee's book. Egyptian official has lost a bit of patience in the second half, and there's the challenge on Marshall Munetsi.
Keep playing, just keep playing without kicking. Keep playing.
Former South Africa-based midfielder, feeling the effects of that one. These two teams hoping that there are no more injuries or COVID cases in the next couple of days with this double header of qualifiers, of course. Remember, South Africa in action again on Monday. They welcome Ghana to Johannesburg, and really the South Africans should be looking to take full advantage here because, of course, Zimbabwe missing a few important players because of the travel restrictions imposed by the British government. Players based in the UK unable to travel. They've seen Tino Kadewere come off here in the second half, and it could be the same on Monday against the Ghanaians, who are unable to call on players based in Britain for the same reasons.
Let's go, Rusika, let's go in the game.
Chance for the South Africans to get off to a strong start. That game on Monday in Johannesburg, and then on Tuesday, Zimbabwe with a testing trip to Ethiopia. And this is a really important game for the two teams. So Zimbabwe getting good results at home is imperative, really. And for South Africa, I think if they are going to qualify, they will feel that they probably need a victory here today as well, given that Ghana are in the group too.
Get the player. Two players must get. One more stay. One more stay. Get the player.
Bit of pressure on though from the Zimbabweans.
Three must.
They are knocking at the door. Tino Kadewere watching on with that heavy bandaging on his left leg, which is not good news for fans of his club Lyon either, as the corner is just over the head of Munetsi, I think it was. Kept in play by Luther Singh, and maybe a chance here for the visitors to hit on the break. Longwane has got Percy Tau in support, chooses to go alone. It might just creep in. It's a crucial clearance on the line by the defender. South Africa centimetres away from taking the lead here. We'll get a chance to look at that again when the action stops, but very nearly the goal for the substitute Bongo Kule Longwane. The breakaway for South Africa. Zimbabwe committing men forwards, and look at this from Longwane. He looked up, he could only see Percy Tau in support. It was, well, an effort of sorts on goal. I think had it gone in, it probably would have been an own goal by Shumba, the keeper. And in the end, credit to Chimwemwe for hacking that one away from just in front of the line. As it is, it remains goalless as we approach the midway point in the second half here between these two Southern African neighbours. Flag is up against the South African defender. By the looks of it, it will be another set-piece opportunity for Knowledge Musona. Testing afternoon at the office for Mobi, Mamelodi Sundowns man. Musona's going to leave this for Biliat. Zimbabwe, remember, have never qualified for the World Cup. They do want to get off to as strong a start as possible. Kamil Biliat's ball in. Biliat over the top towards Musona. Knowledge Musona with a dangerous ball into the middle. Oh, he was looking for the substitute there. Zvukamanja was waiting, and a very important interception by Sianda Shulu. First time ball by Knowledge Musona. It's he who takes the corner. Better away that time by Mvala. Still alive for Zimbabwe. It's for Kamanja. He ended up on the ground. No foul play according to the referee, Luther Singh. Zimbabwe were expelled from the qualifying campaign for the last World Cup in Russia in 2018. That was related to their failure to pay a severance fee to their former coach, the Brazilian José Claudinei. Before that, they didn't win a single game in qualifying for the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. It's a long time since they've come close to making it to the World Cup. They were very close to making it to USA 94. Fell short in their final qualifier against Cameroon. Free kick conceded by Divine Lunga. Becerra's clearance. Brilliantly taken down by Biliat. We've only really seen flashes of what he can do today. Biliat again. Munetsi fouled, drew the foul from Percy Tau. Kamusoko. Cross to Becerra. Picked up by Percy Tau. Mokoena. That terrific effort from long range in the first half. Longwane, the substitute. All the way over to Tau. It's the support from the right-hand side from Morena. He's got forward too much in the second half. Luther Singh now, the number 11, taking the ball for a run. Oh, very good defending. Expert play from Kamusoko, standing up to Luther Singh. Zimbabwe were very encouraging in their performances in qualifying for the Cup of Nations. They finished behind the reigning African champions Algeria in their qualifying group, but that was to be expected, of course. They finished ahead of two of their neighbours, Zambia and Botswana. And they did come from 2-0 down here to draw with Algeria in Harare. That was in November of last year. A very impressive result.
Come! Yes!
Collected by Shumba. By the way, the man who got the equalising goal in that match against Algeria last year, Prince Dube, playing in Tanzania. He is not in the squad. Apparently not considered fit enough to be involved in this game.
What are you doing? Put the pressure.
Here comes South Africa again. Morena with the ball to the far side. Percy Tau And Evidence Magopa waiting in the middle. Interception by Munetsi. Marshall Munetsi has done a fine job in the Zimbabwe midfield today, but not his finest moment there. Zimbabwe missing key players today, but Marshall Munetsi has been very much involved as South Africa prepare to make another change. Luther Singh is the man who's coming off, and we're going to see Victor Letsualo. Luther Singh heads straight off on the far side, the FC Copenhagen man, and Victor Letsualo comes on as Zimbabwe attack at the other end. Biliat tries the cross, and free kick given for the foul on Rushin Daruk. It seemed very soft. Kamanja questioning the decision. Zimbabwe do need a bit more quality, don't they, in the final third of there to win this game today. Rushin Daruk, who's been fairly comfortable in the heart of that South African defence, played every game for Bafana Bafana as they won the regional Kosovo Cup in July. Two countries had greatly contrasting fortunes in that competition. South Africa beat the invited team Senegal on penalties in the final in Port Elizabeth. Zimbabwe finished bottom of their group. There's a chance for the shot on goal from the tight angle. And the substitute who's come on, Letsualo. Difficult to find a target from there. Just a bit of concern here for Talbot Shumba. He's feeling the pain somewhere. And the referee coming across to check on Talbot Shumba, who will require some treatment here. The referee indicating that he will stop the clock. Time for a water break for Percy Tau. It is warm this afternoon. It's not searingly hot here in Harare, but it's warm enough, as you can guess from Percy Tau. Temperatures around 25 degrees. Chance to take on some fluids. We head into the final 15 minutes plus stoppage time. Well, Talbot Shumba is back on his feet. It's a relief for Zimbabwean fans as we await the opening goal here today. With this one of two matches in African qualifying being played at the moment, the other one between Mozambique and the Ivory Coast, as we see Percy Tau on the ball again. Tau trying the shot, and Shumba down to his right with the save. Well, he seems to be okay. Talbot Shumba with the important intervention to deny Percy Tau, who cut in from the right-hand side onto his left foot there, and the new Al Ahly signing forcing the save from the goalkeeper. Back to Ronwyn Williams. Zimbabwe have had plenty of possession, but Williams has largely been a spectator today. Still 0-0. We await the opening goal in qualifying across the continent today. The other match between Mozambique and the Ivory Coast is currently goalless. Not much more than 10 minutes left in that one. A really difficult Group D, also featuring Cameroon, hosts of the next Cup of Nations. Magopa with the ball out to the right-hand side for Tau. First time ball in from Tau. He's looking for Pongwane in the middle. A disappointing ball. Chance wasted for Zimbabwe, and time then for another substitution. South Africa moving to change things again. Sipho Mbule is on. Mongwane. Confirmation then that Percy Tau is the man who has come off here, and Sipho Mbule of Supersport United is on. A young player in this South African squad. As the shot drifts wide of the target. They need more quality, don't they? Evidence Magopa had that chance in the early stages of this game. He's toiled for the rest of the afternoon since then. Shumba again kicking it long here. Mentioned that Cameroon are the hosts of the next Cup of Nations. Have talked about South Africa's failure to qualify for it. And, worth emphasising that Zimbabwe will be there in Cameroon in January in a very difficult group. Kick-off against Senegal and play against Guinea and Malawi, and perhaps they should be aiming pretty high in that group. Senegal will be expected to win it, but against Guinea and Malawi, they could be aiming for enough points to take second place and move on to the last 16, which of course they failed to do in Egypt in 2019. Haven't actually won a match in either of their last two appearances at the final of the Cup of Nations. 2017 in Gabon and 2019 in Egypt, as Talbot Shumba comes to meet that ball, and it will be a goal kick. We're into the final 10 minutes now. We still await the breakthrough here today. Not been a particularly glorious debut for Hugo Broos with South Africa, and his opposite number, Zdravko Logarušić, watching on what vast experience he's got in the African game. The Croatian has managed clubs in Ghana, in Kenya, in Tanzania, and in Angola. He was the Sudan coach for a couple of years before taking the Zimbabwe job early last year. Zimbabwe are considering another change.
Estonia, on the right here.
Mudimu giving it to Chimwemwe, made that crucial clearance off the line. It's brought back for a foul on Kama Biliat. Kama Biliat, who played in the Champions League final for Kaizer Chiefs in July. Well, could this be an ambitious attempt on goal from long range? It is, and it's once again, not something that's going to trouble Ronwyn Williams. Knowledge Musona hasn't really had the impact on the game today that Zimbabwe fans would have been hoping. Just not enough quality in the final third at either end, and particularly in the case of the home team here. One in the air by Alec Mudimu. And again by Munetsi. Such a strong presence in that midfield. It has been quite a battle in the middle of the park with Mokoena and Mvala for South Africa. Kamabiliat getting a booking now. And Motobi and Mvala not happy with the challenge. Clear swipe at the ankle of the South Africa midfielder, the Sundowns man. Kamabiliat, former Sundowns player himself, won the Champions League with them in 2016. Crowning moment in the South African club game. Mamelodi Sundowns, the reigning champions in South Africa, comfortably winning the title last season ahead of the Durban club Amazulu, 13-point difference. South African club game, of course, is one of the leading leagues on the continent, but the national team has often underperformed in recent years. African champions back in '96 as hosts. The cross comes in from the Zimbabwe left, an awkward one for the South African defence, picked up here perhaps by Musona. Again, his control lets him down.
Put the press up! Put the press up! Hey! Put the press up! Chukwamanja! Put the press up!
Every long throw from Mobi might just fall from Agopa. Maybe the substitute, Longwane, deflected up and into the air for Shumba to collect. Clock is ticking towards a goalless finish here today in Harare between these teams. For this group stage of African World Cup qualifying being condensed into the space of a couple of months, a double-header of fixtures this month and then the same again in October and in November. Here in Group G. In October, Zimbabwe have a trip to Ghana and a home game as well. Double header against the Black Stars. That will be decisive for them if they can get anything from these games. They head to Ghana first and then welcome the Ghanaians here after that, and then they finish the campaign here against Ethiopia in November. And the fear for the Warriors must be that by then their hopes of progressing to the final stage of qualifying will be all over. Really, they need to get a result here today. I do sense that South Africa will not end up with as disappointing a final tally in this group as they did in qualifying for the last World Cup. Free kick is given. Evidence Magopa has toiled all afternoon, 87 minutes in. Mongwane's ball forward and foul on Magopa by Alec Mudimu. Defender instantly recognisable with that peroxide dyed hair. Three men in the wall for Zimbabwe. Free kick is flighted in and headed away by Tukamanja. Ghana and Ethiopia watching this will probably be very pleased indeed if it ends in a 0-0 draw ahead of their meeting later on. Not over yet though. Kamanja unable to keep that ball in play. Away by Chimwemwe, nearly got that horribly wrong. Collected by Shumba. Time now to not make any mistakes, to make sure that you leave this game with at least a draw. And move on to the next one. Mudimu. Zimbabwe being urged to get the ball forwards. Kamusoko. No chance to put some pressure on. Needs better delivery than that, and that has in a lot of ways been the story of the game today. Chimwemwe, of course, had that crucial goal line clearance in the second half, but the other end of the field, the quality has been too often lacking. Wane trying to get control of it just inside the penalty box. The free kick is given. Three minutes of added time then here in Harare today. Kavala back the way to Ronwen Williams. Magopa. Mongokule Hongwane, the man who came on at half-time. Mobi. Headed away by Basera. Zimbabwe defence standing firm. It's been a grueling contest today on a difficult playing surface. It's a bouncy pitch, very dry. It's not that the quality of player is not there. There are some very fine players on the field today, CAF Champions League winners and players who ply their trade at leading clubs in Europe, but the playing surface has not been easy. And of course the stakes are high as well. I think we'll see a lot of very close contests throughout this qualifying campaign. Bit of trouble here perhaps for Mobi. He's recovered well. To the right-hand side. Moreno's cross. Chimwemwe getting his head to it, and Shumba will prevent the corner. Header towards goal. Tukamanja has not really been able to give Zimbabwe anything extra since coming on for Kadewere. The big concern too for Kadewere is that it does look like it's going to be very difficult for him to recover in time for the game on Tuesday in Ethiopia. It's going to be a big test of the Zimbabwean team's resources as they head into that match. Touched by Knowledge Musona. Picked up in the South African midfield. Vala across to the far side, and it's not kept in by Letswalo, and the referee decides enough is enough. It is all over here in Harare today, and it ends in a goalless stalemate between these two rivals. A result which I think should suit South Africa that bit more as the away team today, but then again they'll see this as a bit of a missed opportunity given the players who were absent for Zimbabwe. They lost Tino Kadewere to injury in the second half as well. South Africa coming closest to scoring with that first half shot from range by Teboho Mokoena. Zdravko Logarusic's Zimbabwe team didn't offer too much in the final third, if the truth be told, for all the quality they have in their ranks. And nevertheless, they can be pretty pleased with the result, given the players they've been missing today. The South African staff heading off. First competitive game in charge for Hugo Broos, and it ends 0-0 here in Harare between Zimbabwe and South Africa.
Full-time scoreline, Zimbabwe 0, South Africa 0. Thank you all for coming.